Now that you have your fields and groups added, the next step is to start laying out the form. First, set the font size to 10 so it matches the default font size of options in things like drop-down lists. Then under the Insert tab, insert a 2x1 table to act as a header. When you insert a table, this Table Tools tab displays. When you move the cursor outside the Table Tools tab goes away. I like to use the header as a guide for how wide to make my form, and then every other table I insert, I match the header. I use a form width of 650 pixels, or about 9 inches. You set the width up here. Make both cells 325 pixels, for a total of 650. Adjust the fields and controls area so you can see the entire form. In the first cell, you can add an image to the header, maybe your company's logo. In the next cell, you can name the form. Again, this one is an expense report. Do some formatting. Click the mouse to the right of this first table. Then press Return twice to give spacing to the form. Now, insert a 3-column, 3-row table. This table will be where you collect the employee's name and department, and the dates of departure and arrival. I'm formatting the first and third cells to be 300 pixels, and the center cell 50. The center cell won't show up in the form, but the 50 pixel width will add a little white space to make the form more appealing to look at. In this first cell, type Employee, which is a header. I'll choose the heading 4 style. This column is for travel dates. Save your work. Next, you're going to add the first text box that will capture the employee's name. But before you do that, clear this Automatically Create Data Source checkbox. By clearing this checkbox, you will be forced to bind a field to any control you add to the form, which is what you want. If you don't clear this checkbox and drag a control to the form, a new field would be added. Click and drag a text box to go right under the employee heading. Bind this text box to the Name field. Then click this arrow and choose Properties. By selecting this, a user cannot leave the text box blank. In other words, a user will have to type a name in this text box. This red asterisk lets us know that we've made this field a required field. Now click and drag a drop-down list for a list of the departments the employee works in. Bind the drop-down list to the Department field. Go to its Properties. Make this a required field too. Right-click the drop-down list and choose Drop-down List Box Properties to enter the different departments. Add Executive. And here are 3 more departments I added to the drop-down list. Save your work. Now click and drag a date picker so an employee can enter travel dates. Bind it to Departure Date. Don't make travel dates required because not everyone who fills out an expense report incurs expenses out of town. But do make it required that a user enter a date in this field by choosing Date here. Make sure to format labels. And here I added a date picker for the return date. Save your work.